Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. Thank you for returning to my channel to watch my new upload. The next upload that I'm going to share with you all today is 16 different Elvis magazines from my small collection of Elvis magazines. Again, I have been asked by some of my subscribers, can I start sharing more of my magazine collection, which obviously I'm more than happy to do. These titles, if you want me to do any individual reviews on any of these titles, can you please leave in the comments below? The next thing that I want to say is I am really sorry that this upload is not me doing it face to face as I normally would via the screen looking at me. Unfortunately, the computer room where I use the tripod to film myself, my husband is using that room at this moment in time, and I wanted to do this quick upload for you all. So let's start with the first magazine, and it is Life magazine. The King Lives On, remembering Elvis Presley. And what a great image of Elvis there on the front. One of my favorite early images of Elvis. It's a photo shoot image there wearing his red velvet shirt. And on the back is, again, one of the most famous images of Elvis from the 1950s. So if you want me to do a review of Life, The King Lives On, remembering Elvis Presley, please leave in the comments below and I will get that done as soon as I possibly can. The next one in my collection is Uncut Legends Collector's Edition. The amazing story of the King of Rock and Roll. As you can see here, all shook up. The 20 Elvis tracks that changed the world. Godlike, Bono, Led Zeppelin, Franz Ferdinand, and a host of stars pay tribute. From Memphis to Vegas, the greatest Presley picks ever seen. So there we have Uncut Legends Elvis, the amazing story of the King of Rock and Roll, and another great image there on the front from the 1950s with selected images across the bottom. The next magazine is simply titled Elvis. So as you can see, Elvis, over 100 photos you've never seen before. At the top, 25th anniversary commemorative special, exclusive, inside story, the last photo of the King. Elvis with Lisa Marie, Elvis boarding his private plane, clowning around on stage. Win a free trip to Graceland, plus photos from the private collection of James Curtin archives. On the reverse, if I remember correctly, it's the last image of Elvis going through the gates of Graceland. So that magazine is simply titled Elvis. The next one is the first of three, and it is the Elvis Years, Volume 1, From Tupelo to Stardom, the ultimate guide to Elvis Presley's early years. Again, what a great series of magazines this one is. There's 3 parts to this. So if you want me to do a review on Volume 1, please leave in the comments below. Or if you want me to do all 3 together, I certainly will do that as well. On the back, more releases that were available at the time from the Memphis Recording Service label. So there we have the Elvis Years, Volume 1. Next is Volume 2. The Elvis Years, Volume 2, From Fort Hood to Hollywood. And as you can see, the ultimate guide to Elvis Presley's army life and rise to movie stardom. There's a movie still image there. And at the bottom, Collector's Edition, The Life, the Music, the Legend, Volume 2 of 3. On the reverse, again, it's just telling you what's inside. So you've got 132 pages. Presley's classic albums of the 60s, Hollywood movies and soundtracks, the essential alternative Elvis playlist, and much more. I think you all know what's coming next. Volume 3, The Elvis Years, From Comeback to Final Days, the ultimate guide to Elvis Presley's later years, and great image from Aloha from Hawaii there, one of my favourite images of Elvis. On the reverse of this, again, it's just sharing with you, Big Beat Records presents some Elvis releases that were available at the time to purchase. So that was Volume 3, From Comeback to Final Days. Now, believe it or not, the next magazine is exactly the same magazine, but Vintage Rock. They re-released it years later again, and they called it The Later Years instead of Volume 3. So I actually did purchase it thinking it was slightly different, but it's exactly the same magazine. So again, on the back, but they are promoting different Elvis releases at the time via HMV and the Memphis Recording Service there. So Elvis, The Later Years, From Comeback to Final Days. The next is one of 3, and they are the exact same magazine, but we've got an image from the 50s, an image from the 60s, and an image from the 70s. And this is from the great magazine again, Vintage Rock presents Elvis Collector's Cover 1 of 3. So this is the 1950s cover, Shaken Up a Storm on the Road with the Memphis Flash. Live in person, the King in concert, how Elvis captured the world from the stage. Here we have top 20 live recordings from the Hayride to his final tour, plus 68 special Vegas shows, Elvis on TV, TCB Band, Aloha from Hawaii, Jordanaires, Louisiana Hayride. So that is the 1950s image cover there. And on the reverse, again, it's just something about Visit America's music cities there. The next is the 1960s cover, showing the 68 special. It's got the exact same wording on the front, so I won't re-go through it. But again, that is your 1960s front cover, issue collector's edition 2 of Vintage Rock Presents Elvis. The final one is obviously the 70s. So we got the image from the 70s. If you're looking at any of these Vintage Rock magazines, please go to the Vintage Rock website, Google Vintage Rock, and one of my subscribers, Gina, over at Patrick Att's Place, she absolutely loves the Vintage Rock magazines with Elvis. And Gina would say the same thing. They're well worth ordering, and you can actually also pick them up anywhere, really. Like, they're a well-known magazine, and you should be able to pick them up from any good magazine retailer, but these are back editions. So again, these ones you wouldn't be able to go and purchase in a shop. You'd have to order them via the Vintage Rock website. So this one here is 40th anniversary Vintage Rock, the final decade Elvis. This one isn't all pure Elvis, but Elvis, country hits and glorious gospel, essential tracks, studio secrets. As you can see, it's also got Buddy Holly in this one as well. I like Buddy Holly as well. So again, that image there is from the movie Change of Habit, my favourite. On the back, it is the Elvis in concert live on screen. That's with the Philharmonic Orchestra there. The next one again is from Vintage Rock magazine. Elvis Collector's Edition, The King of Rock and Roll. 132 pages of pure Presley, essential guide to his golden years. Up in Lights, Elvis at the Movies, Tupelo to Graceland, his musical roots, his style, his records, and the women in his life, the king of rock and roll. Again, lovely image there from the 1950s. Vintage Rock do some great magazines on Elvis. And on the back, it is an ETA, Lee Memphis King, One Night of Elvis. Next, again, is a Vintage Rock Presents magazine. And it's another Elvis collector's edition. So as you can see, the 68 comeback special there. The King of Rock and Roll 68 comeback special show. Aloha from Hawaii, Elvis Fashion. Again, it's got 132 pages. And we have a sensual guide to his Vegas years. What a great image of Elvis. I love that black leather attire he wore in the 68 special. And on the back again, it's Lee Memphis King, One Night of Elvis. The last two magazines are not the same. The next one, I actually love this one. This is again from Vintage Rock Presents Elvis at the Movies. So again, we have from every film from Love Me Tender to Change of Habit reviewed, Elvis at the Movies, Elvis's Leading Ladies, the biopics, the concert films, the songwriters and more. Epic Elvis Movie Fest, a celebration of the King's big screen adventures, including in-depth features on all 31 Elvis movies. Here, Elvis and I flirted all the time. Marilyn Mason on starring alongside the King. Again, that's such a great magazine. On the reverse, again, more Elvis Presley releases that were available to purchase at the time. So, if you want me to share that review, I have already done this review. Oh, it's one of my first uploads when I started this channel many months ago. But if you want me to do a more in-depth review of this magazine, I'm more than happy to do that. So, Elvis at the Movies by Vintage Rock. The next one is my favourite from this collection, and it is simply called Elvis Collector's Edition, and it's got the King's amazing life and legacy, the women who loved him speak out, 200 plus must-see photos. This here is by far got to be my favourite magazine I've got on Elvis, and again, I've got 2 spare copies of this magazine, and I know Gina over at Patrick Att's Place asked me for a copy. So if Gina can contact me on the comments below, I will certainly get that sorted out for her and get one sent across. But again, Elvis Collector's Edition. What an image from Aloha from Hawaii. On the back, great one from the 50s. The last one is again from Vintage Rock magazine. Elvis, A Celebration, the man behind the myth. Interviews, influences and inside stories. 40th anniversary tribute. Great image of Elvis there. I love that image. And on the reverse, again, selected titles that were available at the time. So we have, in reverse order, Vintage Rock Presents Elvis, A Celebration, the man behind the myth. Elvis Collector's Edition. Vintage Rock Presents Elvis at the Movies. Vintage Rock Presents Elvis Collector's Edition, the King of Rock and Roll 68 Comeback Special. Vintage Rock Presents Elvis Collector's Edition, the King of Rock and Roll. Vintage Rock 40th Anniversary, the Final Decade, Elvis. The next 3 are exactly the same. Vintage Rock Presents Elvis Collector's Cover 3 of 3. 2 of 2. one of three. We have Vintage Rock Presents Elvis the Later Years. This is exactly the same magazine, but this was the issue the first time around. The Elvis Years Volume 3 from Comeback to Final Days. The Elvis Years Volume 2 from Fort Hood to Hollywood. The Elvis Years Volume 1 from Tupelo to Stardom. Simply Elvis. Uncut Legends Collector's Edition, Elvis, the amazing story of the King of Rock and Roll. Finally, we have Life magazine, The King Lives On, remembering Elvis Presley. So again, if you want me to do any individual reviews on them titles, please leave in the comments below and I will get them done as soon as possible. And I just want to say thank you for returning to my channel to watch this upload. Again, I am sorry that this upload is not done with me sharing it with you all on screen, but I will get back to doing that when the computer room is free after my husband has used it. And again, I look forward to doing more uploads in the week ahead. I'm going to be doing some DVD reviews, some CD reviews as well, and I've got some more book reviews to do and vinyl. So keep a lookout for all of them uploads coming real soon. Thank you for supporting my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. As always, please keep Elvis close to your hearts. Please keep on playing his music. That's most important to me. And love to you all. Speak soon, everybody. Bye-bye.